Hi everyone, it's Phil here, and in today's video I will outline 13 tips to help you maximize your HIIT workouts. So let's get straight into it, starting with the most important tip of all. Tip 1. Get your heart rate between 80 to 95% of your max heart rate. Now first and foremost, the most important tip of all for your HIIT workouts is that you get your heart rate between 80 to 95% of your max heart rate during your work intervals. It is the most important tip I can give you and the biggest key to having a successful HIIT workout and maximizing your HIIT workouts. Which is why I'm reinforcing it in this video despite already mentioning it in my previous video on HIIT. Tip 2. Always warm up before HIIT. Now, this should be a given. However, you must always warm up before any HIIT workout. Warming up will ensure your muscles and joints are ready for the high intensity workout to come, which will not only help you exercise to the best of your ability so that you really maximize your workout, it will also decrease your chances of injury. Tip 3. Listen to motivating music. One of the quickest and easiest ways you can improve your HIIT workouts is by putting on some motivating, high-tempo music to exercise to. It has been shown to improve your motivation, mood, and physical performance. Therefore, if you want to improve your HIIT workouts today, put some motivating music on and you will take your HIIT workouts to another level. Tip 4. Perform full body movements. To really maximize your HIIT workouts, you should aim to get your whole body moving. It will make it easier to get your heart rate up into your target heart rate zone, and it will ensure that you have a full body workout also. For example, instead of doing your HIIT workout on an exercise bike that solely focuses on your legs, you could do your HIIT workout on a cross trainer or rower instead. Both of which will get your lower body and upper body working at the same time. Tip 5. Be ready. Another valuable tip that will help maximize your HIIT workouts is to make sure that you are ready, focused, and in position to begin all of your work intervals. This is essential because it will ensure that you are ready to give each work interval your absolute all, and that you use every second that has been allocated to your work and recovery periods correctly. Therefore, during your recovery periods, you should pay attention to the time and how long it is until your next work interval begins, so that when it arrives, you don't waste a single second. Tip 6. Keep moving. If you are in the middle of a work interval and the exercise you are doing becomes too hard for you to continue, don't just stop exercising completely unless you really need to. Instead, you should either 1. Decrease the intensity slightly so that you can continue the exercise that you are doing. 2. Regress the exercise to its easier version. Or 3. Change the exercise to something a little easier. And regardless of which option you decide to take, you should try to continue exercising until your work interval finishes and your recovery interval begins. By modifying the exercise in any of these 3 ways, it will ensure that you keep your heart rate in your target heart rate range and that you stay in sync with your intervals. And remember, your recovery interval isn't far off, so try to keep moving until your rest break arrives. Tip 7. Focus on speed, not resistance. HIIT is about getting your heart rate up, not how much weight you can lift or the resistance that you can push. Therefore, when it comes to HIIT, you should focus more on speed than resistance. To give you a common example to highlight exactly what I mean, I often see people doing HIIT workouts at the gym on an exercise bike and they have the resistance up really high. The problem being, despite having a great leg workout, is that it results in them pedaling slowly and failing to get their heart rate over 80% of their max heart rate because they just can't pedal any faster due to their legs struggling to overcome the resistance and then fatiguing as the interval progresses. This is not what we want when doing HIIT. When it comes to HIIT, you must always remember, the aim is to get your heart rate between 80 to 95% of your max heart rate during your work intervals. Therefore, you don't want to overdo the resistance on your cardio machine or to use weights too heavy that you can't get your heart rate above 80%. Otherwise, you are decreasing the effectiveness of your workout and in some cases, not even doing a HIIT workout at all. Therefore, going back to our bike example, you would be better off decreasing the resistance on the bike and pedaling at a faster speed than using a higher resistance that doesn't allow you to reach 80% of your max heart rate. Therefore, when doing HIIT on a cardio machine or with weights, you must find the correct balance between speed and resistance so that at all times you can achieve your target heart rates. Tip 8. Give yourself a speed target to aim for. Now, as I just highlighted, the speed with which you exercise is a major factor in achieving your target heart rates for HIIT. Therefore, when doing HIIT on cardio machines, you should give yourself a speed target to aim for. For example, on the bike and cross trainer, I like to aim for over 90 to 100 RPMs for my work intervals, and I will ensure the resistance level I use allows me to reach these speeds because I know it gets my heart rate over 80% of my max. On the treadmill, it will depend upon how fast you can run. So challenge yourself and see what you are capable of. And on the rower, I personally like to use minutes per 500 meters when giving myself a target to aim for. This number simply tells you how long it would take you to row 500 meters. Therefore, the lower the number, the faster you are going. So, you could try to keep this number under 1 minute 50 seconds, which is quite quick for a lot of people. However, once again, it all depends on your current level of fitness and what enables you to get your heart rate over 80% of your max. Some people will be aiming to keep it under 2 minutes, and others will be aiming to keep it under 2 minutes 20 or 2 minutes 30. It literally depends on your fitness levels, strength, and what speed gets you into your target heart rate range. So hop on a rower and see what you can do. After your first interval, you will know what speed you should be aiming for. Now, having these speed targets to aim for on your cardio machines are great because it will give you something to focus on. It will ensure that you aren't slacking off, and it saves you from constantly checking your heart rate because you know you will be in your target heart rate range. So next time you do your HIIT workout on a cardio machine, make sure you give yourself a speed target to aim for and you will have an incredible workout. Tip 9. Use cardio machines. If you really want to maximize your HIIT workouts to burn off a stack of calories, improve your cardiovascular fitness and health, whilst being gentle on your joints, then you should do your HIIT workouts on a cardio machine. They are gentle on your joints, especially when using a rower, cross trainer, or bike, and for a lot of people, they make it a whole lot easier to get their heart rates up over 80% of their max heart rate compared to when doing bodyweight exercises for their HIIT workouts. This is especially true for anyone who suffers joint pain or anyone who is limited in their movement in any way. Therefore, if you suffer joint pain or are limited in your movement in any way whatsoever, and you find it difficult to get your heart rate above 80% of your max when doing bodyweight HIIT workouts, then you should use cardio machines instead. In fact, they are one of my biggest go-tos for clients who are limited in their movement, because most people, when they find the right cardio machine for them, can exercise far more efficiently on cardio machines than they can when doing bodyweight exercises. Therefore, if you also suffer joint pain or are limited in your movement in any way whatsoever, especially when doing bodyweight exercises, then you must also find the cardio machines that work best for you. For example, if you have bad knees, ankles, struggle being on your feet for too long, or if you can't run for whatever reason, you could do your HIIT workouts on a bike, rower, or cross trainer, or in some cases, you could use the incline on the treadmill to get your heart rate up and down instead of running on the treadmill. Doing your HIIT workouts on cardio machines could quite literally be the best decision you make when it comes to your fitness and weight loss efforts. So make sure you find the cardio machine or machines that enable you to get your heart rate into your target heart rate zones and that are the most suitable for you, and you will take your HIIT workouts to the next level. Tip 10. Use an interval timer. If you aren't following along to a HIIT workout video or group class, I recommend that you use an interval timer that will alert you when to start and stop your intervals. This will ensure that you are focusing completely on the exercise that you are doing instead of keeping one eye on the time, which decreases your focus and effectiveness. Now, there are many free interval timer apps that you can use, so take advantage of them to improve your HIIT workouts, because using a timer really does make a difference. Tip 11. Keep your heart rate under 95% of your max. Now, due to your heart rate being key to your HIIT workouts, it is also important to note that you aren't going to have a heart attack if you reach 100% of your max heart rate. Your heart isn't just going to explode, so don't freak out. I say this because someone will always ask me this question when they are new to exercising with target heart rates. You can definitely get your heart rate to 100% and even above without ill effects for most people. However, I personally recommend you keep your heart rate under 95% during HIIT. Therefore, if your heart rate is constantly getting up close to 100% of your max, then I recommend you back off the intensity a little bit so that you are below 95% of your max heart rate, especially if you are new to exercise. The two main reasons for this is that most people won't last long exercising at 100% of their max heart rate. Therefore, they won't be able to complete the entire workout. And the second reason, and the most important reason of all, is that it can be dangerous exercising above your max heart rate, and if you do, especially for a long period of time, it increases your risk of cardiac events such as chest pain and discomfort, which is not at all what we want. Therefore, if you truly want to maximize your HIIT workouts and to keep them as safe as possible, keep your heart rate between 80 to 95% of your max heart rate during your work intervals, and don't try to push it above your max heart rate. And most of all, consult your doctor before undertaking any physical activity, and always follow their advice and recommendations. It is also important to note that these heart rate percentages I have just given are just guidelines. You must always listen to how you feel and modify your workout accordingly. These figures given are for healthy individuals without any underlying health issues. For example, it does not apply to anyone who is on prescribed medication that lowers their heart rate. Therefore, you must always check with your doctor if this exercise is suitable for you and do exactly as they say. Tip 12. Progressively increase the difficulty of your workouts. To maximize your HIIT workouts, you should exercise at a level that is suitable to your ability and progress the difficulty of your workouts as your fitness levels improve. There are two main ways you can do this. Firstly, you can start with longer rest to work ratios. For example, you could do a 1:2 ratio or a 1:3 ratio, whereby you have double to triple the recovery period of your work periods. For example, for a 1:2 ratio, you could do 30-60 intervals, where you complete 30-second work periods and 60-second recovery periods. These longer recovery to work ratios are a fantastic way to begin your HIIT workouts if you're new to HIIT, or if you haven't exercised for a while, as the longer recovery periods enable you to recover more before you attack each work period, which will obviously enable you to work as hard as you possibly can during your work periods so that you really maximize your HIIT workouts. Therefore, if you are new to HIIT, it is often recommended to begin with a ratio that has longer recovery periods compared to your work periods. Then, as your fitness levels improve, you can increase the work to recovery ratio and aim for a 1:1 ratio. For example, 30-30 intervals, where you complete 30-second work periods and 30-second recovery periods. Then, as your fitness levels continue to improve, you can increase these work to recovery ratios to 2:1 as an example, where you could do 40-20 intervals, where you complete 40-second work periods and 20-second recovery periods. By progressing your work to recovery ratios in this fashion, it ensures that you are exercising to your ability while progressively increasing the difficulty of your workouts as your fitness levels improve. The key when applying this to HIIT being that you never lose focus on achieving your target heart rate zones, and that you ensure that you are performing a work to recovery ratio that has enough recovery time to allow you to continue reaching these target heart rate zones each interval that you complete. The second way you can progressively increase the difficulty of your workouts is by choosing exercises suitable to your current physical ability and current fitness levels. For example, if you are doing bodyweight cardio exercises for your HIIT workout, instead of doing an advanced exercise such as burpees, a beginner might do jumping jacks and then progress the difficulty of the exercise as their fitness levels improve. For example, you could progress from jumping jacks to mountain climbers, and then from mountain climbers to burpees as a really simple example. I do this all the time when training clients, especially when training groups of clients with various abilities and fitness levels. And I have created the same for my online clients. For example, I have beginner, intermediate, and advanced HIIT workouts that you can choose from. I create workouts like this because it enables you to exercise at a level suitable to your current ability, whilst enabling you to progress the difficulty of your workouts as your fitness levels improve, which is one of the biggest keys to achieving incredible results. Therefore, whether you are following my workouts or creating your own workouts, make sure you exercise at your level and progress the difficulty of your workouts as your fitness levels improve. Tip 13. Don't do HIIT every day. Due to the benefits of HIIT, it can be tempting to do it every day. However, you shouldn't do HIIT every day. If you do, it can increase your risk of injury, overtraining, and mental burnout. Instead, you should keep your HIIT workout short and sharp and do 2 to 3 sessions per week to maximize the effort that you can put into each session while combining it with other forms of training, such as strength training, so that you are following a balanced exercise routine. So there you have it. That is 13 tips to help you maximize your HIIT workouts. So implement them from this day forward and you will reap the rewards. If you like this video and you want more, you know what to do. Hit that notification bell, subscribe and like, and you are going to get a whole lot more. However, if you want everything mapped out for you, come to philhartson.com, where you'll find my exercise programs, including at home and the gym programs, meal plans, including 4-week healthy eating meal plans, recipe books with over 380 healthy eating recipes, and a whole lot more. You will have everything you need to achieve your health and fitness goals. So thank you for watching and see you next time.